This is a video for a Honda Accord 2.4 EX automatic. The car you can see here is finished in black, has covered 86,000 miles and has had 2 owners from new. Really good looking cars. The car's in very good condition for its age and mileage. And what I'll do is I'll just go around the car for you, just trying to pick up on any sort of noticeable marks on the vehicle, so you can actually see those. At all points through this road test, the walk around video, the car's engine will be running for you. So go around the front of the car. Basically, just looking at a couple of things here. So the main lens there, very good, completely unmarked. The little fog light there does have a crack in it, so we've ordered a new one for the car, and that's coming from Honda over the next couple of days or so. The main bonnet itself, sorry about that car just driving past. Main bonnet itself is very good with regard to stone chipping. There's very few, there's a couple being touched in there. On the bumpers here, obviously given the fact it's done 80,000 miles, there's a few little chips on there, which you're going to expect because it's quite a blunt front end on these bumpers. Lenses on this offside are completely unmarked, and again a bit of light stone chipping actually on the leading edge of the bumper there as well. Front offside wing, really clean and tidy. Tons and tons of tread on the tyre there, and the alloy is pretty much unmarked. Can't see any marks on there at all. Wing mirror housing, completely unmarked, no cracks in the repeater there. I'm just going to try and sort of come back a bit because the sun's at a funny old angle today. Well, I'm at a funny old angle to the sun obviously. But the flanks, generally very good indeed. I mean, it is a black car with 80,000 miles, so you know it's going to have the odd light mark, but for a black one, it's generally very good. Rear alloy, again, very clean and tidy, and absolutely tons and tons of tread on the tyre there. Coming around the back of the car's obviously it's cold morning, so there's a little bit of condensation coming from the exhaust, but you've got that twin exhaust pipes on these 2.4s, looks really good indeed. For the back of the car, generally, again, a couple of minor stone chips is in very nice order indeed again. Near side of the car, again, very crisp down the flanks. I can see one tiny little dimple dent on the rear door at the bottom there, so if someone was really fussy or wanted to get that done, it's easily pulled out by these dent people. Wing in the back's very good. Tyre as with all the tyres, top condition. And alloy here, again, really nice condition as well. Just come back a bit because it's a really nice looking car from the back. It's got that really lovely good stance about it. They did a very nice job on styling this particular car. But generally speaking, so the exterior is very nice. Just it said, I have to counter that by saying black cars will show the marks a little bit more readily than other colours. But when they're all cleaned up, they do look absolutely fantastic, and this really does suit this particular example. Right, so coming into the boot area of the car here, all in really nice order. Tonneau covers all there and intact, but really nicely finished off on the finished in the Accords here, and it's said it's in very nice condition back here. And the inside rear door card, again, very nice. Just that you got a little bit of wear on the plastics just at the bottom there. Someone sort of managed to touch it. But generally speaking, the leatherwork's in really fine order in the back. Back of the front seats, again, generally very good indeed. Come across here, and that door card's really clean and tidy. Coming to the front of the car now, driver's door card, really lovely condition. Very high quality plastics used on these Accords. Sill areas all really good indeed. As you see there, you've got electric adjustments for the front seat, and leatherwork again is in very fine order. Very comfortable seats and very nice condition too. Just a minuscule amount of wear on the bolsters. People have been getting in and out of the car, but it's minimal. Coming across here, again, front passenger seat, wonderful condition. Let's go up a little bit. Obviously on the EX models you get a tilt and slide electric sunroof, and that all works absolutely perfectly. Alright, so I'm inside the car now, engine is running. Just to quickly show you, obviously we've got the full owner's manual pack and original Honda lock and wheel nut set for the car. But the interior is in really good order. It's a really good looking car inside. There's a really nice high quality, quite modern looking dashboard, high level rear, sat nav system. Pop it into reverse there, and then that goes to a nice crystal clear parking camera there as well. Coming down, you've got your radio, dual zone climate control systems, really high quality affair, the whole thing. Then you've got your auto gear lever and electric heated seat switches there as well, which are all in perfect working order. But it's a really nicely finished car. Coming across to the dashboard here, we've got rev counter, obviously showing the engine running, no warning lights on the car at all, and 86,194 miles. Although this comes before the following road test of the car, this was actually done slightly after the road test itself. Auto lights, auto wipers, and then you've got the multifunction steering wheel. So we've got audio top left, cruise control top right, voice activation system on the left hand side bottom, and on the bottom right we've got information display controls there as well. But it's all in really good and very fine working order. Obviously electric memory seats there, and that button there presses and shows your electric folding mirrors, all working absolutely perfectly. Finally, just show you under the engine bay of the car, all a beautifully presented engine bay, absolutely fantastic engine, as you'll find out on the following road test video of the car. Just to let you know, the engines always sound a lot noisier on the videos than they do in reality when you stood here. But it's a wonderful unit, cam chain driven, so no belts to change. Tough as old boots, but it's so smooth to drive. It's a wonderful engine. Finally, whilst I'm outside the car, just to quickly show you, obviously on the Accord Tourers you get a power tailgate, as you can see. I just want to show you it all working absolutely perfectly. This is the road test section of the video for the 10 plate 2.4 EX Accord Tourer. Mileage currently on the car is 86,163 miles. The purpose of this road test section is really for those who are coming a fair distance to come and see us, just to give you the reassurance to know that the car drives as it should, or if there's any issues with the car, then I can let you be aware of them before you make your trip to us. We're now selling to all over the near continent and the extremes of the UK, and as a company we feel it's right that customers should be given this reassurance prior to them coming to see us. What I try and do on this short, brief test drive is just to do the things you'll do yourself when you come and drive the car, and just go through them in a sequence of events. Just before I get to the roadworks in a second, which will slow me down, just a couple of things. Car tracks bullet straight. I'm at the legal limit now. There's no wheel wobble, no vibrations to the steering wheel at these speeds. It drives absolutely beautifully. And also I listen out for things like wind hiss and wind rush, where maybe there's a seal gone in a sunroof or windscreen or window. But the car drives absolutely beautifully. It's very quiet indeed, very refined. So there's no issues in relating to that. So starting with the engine. If you've seen any of my other videos on 2.4 automatic Accords, you'll know that I am horribly biased towards them. I think it is one of the very finest cars Honda ever made. This engine is a superb example of this brilliant engine. It's gutsy, it's incredibly sweet revving. The refinement of the engine in terms of the lack of vibration coming back through any of the pedals or wheels or steering wheel or otherwise, or trim, is very much like a 6-cylinder engine in that sense. It's so smooth. It makes a lovely noise when it goes about its business. It's the typical Honda engine in that respect. It's got a lovely sweet growl when it gets close to the red line. And as I said, this particular engine in this car, as we speak now, starts absolutely on the button. No strange noises, no issues at all. There's no smoke, not that you'd expect there to be. We've had these 2.4s back with well over 200,000 miles and still sounding as sweet as a nut, and this is a beautiful example of one. The engine then goes through this automatic gearbox, which is very well suited to the car. It changes really smooth, very sweet changes. It uses what they call grade logic, so it doesn't hunt up and down the gears when you go up a hill, or minimises the amount it actually has to. And you can override the gearbox manually by using these two paddles on the steering wheel. So if you're overtaking a car and really want to control the amount of kickdown you get, then it's very, very clever indeed. And it all functions absolutely perfectly. So in terms of the drivetrain, spot on, can't fault it. As I said, the steering, no vibrations. I cannot feel any wear through the steering wheel. Quite often when you drive a car with, you know, 80,000 miles or so on the clock now, you can quite often feel coming up through the suspension and the steering, just a little bit of kind of aftershock, a little bit of resonance coming through the suspension joints or steering components. But this feels like, you know, a very low mileage car. Likewise with the suspension, utterly smooth, really beautifully controlled suspension on the Accord. Again, as with the steering, I can't detect a hint of wear coming up through the suspension at all. You can hear it when it goes over a bump, which is quite right, but what I can't feel is any little sort of chatters from what they call these anti-roll bar links, or, you know, any noise from any suspension component that shouldn't be there. So all those absolutely fine. The brakes are lovely and solid, really reassuring. The brake pedal's exactly at the right point it should be on the brake pedal. It doesn't snatch on the brakes, but it's positive and it's very, very strong. And again, you know, when I brake from speed and I hit the brake pedal, it just goes down on its haunches and stops. No vibrations, no wobbles, no hint of any brake distortion or disc brake distortion on the brakes at all. So in essence, in terms of the mechanical stuff, you know, if you are travelling distance, you're not going to find an issue with the car, which is obviously always good news. Relating to the engine, looking at the dashboard now, obviously there's no warning lights on the car. The only light showing currently is the low fuel light, which means I'm going to have to get some in a second. All the other gauges work absolutely perfectly. It's a really lovely dashboard, big, bold instruments, especially for the rev counter and speedo. Every gauge works perfectly. The temperature gauge is exactly where it should be on an Accord, which is about a third of the way up, and you know that's exactly the right point it should be. Fuel gauge, the information displays all working exactly as it should. The rest of the dashboard is in wonderful condition. It's a lovely design. It's beautifully made. There's not a murmur or a squeak or a buzz from the dashboard. Not that I expect there to be, because these are quite sensationally built cars. As I said, you know, I have a real soft spot for them. I think it's you know, compare it to a BMW or an Audi A4 or a Mercedes or a Passat. You've got way more standard equipment. I mean, it's a hugely spec'd car for the money. You've got an engine which is as tuneful as any of them, but will cause none of the trouble that the other manufacturers will give you. And you've got a level of true build quality. I'm not talking about built-in where, you know, you make a door sound like it's heavy. I'm talking about the fact that this is a car which has done 86,000 miles and pretty much exhibits no wear at all. If you jump into something like a Passat or an Audi, quite often you find a lot of the plastics rub off so easily, and all the trim. You know, we've had to repaint dashboards on Audis, you know, with lesser miles than this. So, you know, a lot of the build is sort of a bit of myth and legend, in all honesty. The real world of motoring, which is what this is, these Hondas stand up to mileage unbelievably well, and this is a fantastic example of one. You've got the big screen sat-nav system up there. Obviously when you select reverse, that goes into the camera, as you've seen on the previous video. All works absolutely perfectly. Down here, nice, dead simple, easy to use radio stereo system on there. And then down below that, you've got controls for the climate control system, so it's dual zone, so you can do side to side. It all works absolutely perfectly. And just down below that, you've got the 6 multi-changer on the CD system. Further down here by the gear lever, heated seats, they all work perfectly. I put them on when I left tonight just to check them out, to make sure they're all absolutely as they should be. They always are, but it's just nice to know. Coming over to the steering wheel, obviously it's a multifunction steering wheel, which gives you remote control for the audio system up on top left here. Top right, you've got your cruise control system. So press cruise there, press set, and it's now working absolutely perfectly. Bottom right, information display system, so I can scroll through any information I might want on the dashboard, like fuel economy, how much fuel's left, etc., etc. And on this one, you've got your controls for your voice activation, so hands-free telephone, so you can pair your phone to the car, and you've got secondary controls, which you can tell the radio to go to radio 2, or up your fan speed, or whatever you happen to want to do. Coming over to this side here, all the switches, electric memory seats, power folding wing mirrors, electric wing mirror controls, and electric window controls. Everything works exactly as it should. I've not yet pressed a button that doesn't work as it should. But in essence, the drive of the car is wonderful. We sell the 2-litre versions, which is a mighty fine engine. But the reason I love these, I just think it's the perfect balance. It's quite a big car, it's quite a heavy car, so the 2-litre one has to work quite hard, constantly. And whilst the claimed fuel economy for the 2-litre is better than this for obvious reasons, the reality is, in the real world of driving, I always, and all our customers have as well, got better economy out of the 2.4s. But on top of that, you get a much more relaxed drive. The engine isn't having to work so hard, the gearbox isn't having to work so hard, so in terms of the wear on the car, it's minimized as well. So there's so many pluses, but the way it all just gels so well. On top of that, you've got this wonderful powertrain, beautifully built car, which looks fantastic, but also drives incredibly well. The weight of the steering, they've got absolutely perfect. It's got a lovely kind of chunky, heavy feel to it, which is very good, because it's a lot of these later cars have what they call electronic power steering or electric power steering, which pretty much devoid of any feel. This one is incredibly accurate. Whenever you point the car into a corner, it goes exactly where you want it to. The rest of the car then comes together really nicely. It holds its line really nicely, maintains its composure mid-corner really well. But this is a really lovely car. I've had, the reason I'd probably, I should have said it, I've probably had 3 or 4 of these exact cars over the years. With varying mileages. I've had saloons and estate versions, or Taurus as they like to call it. And this one drives exactly as all my others did. It's this quality control at Honda's absolutely superb. But basically, hopefully this, so it's only a brief video, but as I said, the reason just to give you a bit of reassurance. But from my test drive in the car now, it drives absolutely beautifully. Anyone coming any distance to us will be utterly delighted by the car. Clearly, if I've missed anything out on this test drive or on the preceding walk around video and in the text of the advert, then I apologise, but do get in touch with us and ask us, and we'll find out for you.